This is being young. The days of endless summers.
Vulnerability's hard.
We had a permit. We had a plan. We went.
I think that about sums it up.
Core experiences that I know fundamentally shifted who I am as a person.
And I was like, are you okay?
I wasn't.
In hindsight, I would do things completely differently.
Is it Yither?
Is it Yonder? Welcome to Yither and Yonder. So last time on Yither and Yonder. So my anxiety was high enough that not only did I tootle on over, but I talked to strangers.
And I was very intimidated by that. And I was feeling so defeated on day one, feeling like it was this hard. How are we going to do this for this many days?
And I took a picture of it and I was like, I think I'm gonna need this.
I think we had intended to go back to the campground, get our stuff, and then move on. And by the time we ended up coming back, there wasn't any moving on.
Cue the anxiety. So Half Dome. I'm reading from my journal now. Our neighbor Paul described it yesterday as a nice, short little hike that we'd enjoy. Oh, Paul! You ever think he looks back on that and laughs at us?
No, I think Paul's an athlete. I think Paul is a fucking athlete.
Yeah.
And he does not understand that his small little hike that we would enjoy was a fucking brutal, miserable experience. We, for full disclosure, we both have Half Dome tattooed with the phrase "never again."
Correct.
Just as a total spoiler to how this turns out.
Yeah.
I wrote Half Dome, Half Dome, Half Dome. Fuck. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was incredible and terrible and wonderful and awful and awe-inspiring and terrifying. But I did it.
Yep. It starts off as a nice little jaunt in the woods, by which I mean it's all uphill. Then you hit stairs to get to the top of Subdome. No one tells you about the stairs, which are all in the form of switchbacks, uphill. And then you get to the top of Subdome, which you have to scramble up. Slabs of granite, which are uphill. I was really fixated on uphill that day.
I said getting there wasn't the worst part, at least to the stairs. No one tells you about the stairs. You know, there are stairs.
In hindsight, as I've told this story before, but closer to when it happened, I remember being severely offended that no one told me about the stairs.
I literally said there are stairs for a half mile up what they call Subdome, and it's intense and frightening.
Yeah, but I also remember it being beautiful.
You're climbing stairs on the side of a mountain. You were walking up granite at an angle, and you're literally just hanging out on a curved mountain. But then the cables. So no, this is not part of the cables. This is getting to the cables.
Indeed.
And you summit Subdome, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yes.
You're standing on a narrow, curved dome. There's people climbing the cables, some coming down. It's too much to take in. There's wind, there's anxiety, my heart was racing, my stomach was in my throat, my head felt light, but it was also racing. I knew I had to do it. I was hoping desperately that Em would back out. I wanted an excuse. I turned to her and said, "We can do this." And then asked, "Do we want to do this?" And in her most hesitant voice, she said, "Yes." You know, the kind where it goes up, the uncertain, almost question response. Then we went.
Yeah. So I can hear the panic in my writing a little bit. I'm talking about the fact that there's really nothing to hold on to as you're summiting Subdome. And as you summit Subdome, you get your first look at the cables, which span the last 400 to 500 feet from the summit of Subdome to the summit of Half Dome. And you have to walk from the summit of Subdome down the hill a minute, and then you hit the cables. And as we're staring up at them, Nikki says, "Do you really want to do this?" And I'm already freaking out but we've come this far, so I say, mm-hmm. But even I can hear the down in my voice. So we begin. The cables are a corridor of 2x4s about 20 feet apart with brass pipes embedded in the granite. And the pipes also have a cable running through them. Maybe they're not brass. I don't know. I might be making shit up
I
at
don't
this
think they're
point.
brass.
Probably not. But
brass
they're like...
brass sounds like elite.
And
This is
maybe
some
they're like...
janky ass metal screwed into the side of a fucking mountain, and it is not stable. And they are not 2x4s.
No.
They are like 2 inches by like 4 feet.
Maybe they're like patinaed metal. And they like, as you're doing the cable things, the pipes in the granite are rattling.
Correct.
Because after years of use, the pipes have like wiggled their way loose in the granite.
As with any rock, the pipes are screwed into the rock.
Yeah.
But years of screwing them in and out of and being torqued up and down and left and right by the people using the cables that run through those pipes.
Mm-hmm.
The top part of the rock has eroded. So yes, they are in deep enough and screwed in, but they also have too much wiggle room to feel like this is a safe place to be.
Yes. And this is not, the cables are not a one-way street. This is like a two-way avenue of like hundreds of people going up one side and down the other side. So the chain that you're holding onto is constantly moving with people, which means those posts are constantly making a rattling sound. And then the wood that is there to kind of make like a ladder or a lattice up the side of this curve is also janky as fuck.
I would say every third one is broken or gone.
Yes.
And you're on granite that thousands of people regularly go up and down. So it's like polished.
It's slick. It is as smooth as polished silver. Insert your metaphor here.
It's smooth like a baby's bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's curved like a baby's bottom.
Yes. And I've written here about a quarter of the way up, I already have regrets.
It took a quarter of the way. I had regrets just touching the cable.
And it's about this time that Nikki and I get separated on the cables because I'm fundamentally like a slower hiker than Nikki is. And that's okay. Like we have this really great dynamic on the trail where like we generally stay within eye line of each other.
I'm not allowed to lead on a hike. Unless you're okay with me just going and you catching up.
Yeah, which normally works, right? For us, anyway.
You definitely, I know this about myself. If I go on a hike and somebody lets me be in front, they're like, why are we going this fast? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just going. I'm also out of breath, but I'm just going.
Yeah.
And someone has to be like, roll her back. Because I'm fine hiking slow, but someone has to pace me.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this scenario, we had a really good balance. But in this particular case,
no,
we said we weren't going to lose each other. And we fucking lost.
We did. But we got separated because there was a traffic jam from people going up and down, because people don't just wait for like patiently behind people. They like pass each other on the cables, and it creates these like bottlenecky traffic jam clusterfuck situations on the cables that actually look incredibly dangerous. And I start freaking out. Like I am not a person, like I'm an anxious person, but I'm not a person that's prone to panic attacks. And I just feel my anxiety start to like blow the lid of my tolerance of it. And I'm like trying to breathe. I'm trying to catch my breath. And I'm just trying to put one foot in front of the other. And I get about halfway up and I regret fucking everything. I regret Half Dome. I regret the gloves on my hands. I regret the boots on my feet. I regret coming on this trail. I regret...
She regrets meeting me.
Everything about everything. And I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna die. And I like have I'm not prone to panic attacks, but I have a full-blown panic attack on these cables.
So one thing that you missed that I think also when we started, you're standing in front of these cables and they look like they go straight up. It looks like a ladder. And there's a pile of gloves because you need gloves to get up these cables. They are like rough, gritty metal cables. And my personal opinion is that this is not a hiking trail. It should be a climbing trail, and you should be in climbing gear. You should have a harness and you should be clipped in. That is not what this is. And some people choose to wear climbing gear and clip in. And while I understand the desire to do so, given that it is a hiking trail, they fuck up the flow of people going up and down on Half Dome.
Yes.
Because they have to clip in and out at every post.
Yes.
Because it is not a singular cable that is tight. They have to clip out, clip in. And most of them are using the 2 clips, so they're always clipped in. And when they stop, the people behind them have to stop. And I don't know exactly how it happened because I too panicked. But we said we would go up together. Em was right behind me. We had our day packs on and our gloves on, and we were holding both sides. And the first time someone came down, we both leaned over. And then I started moving again, and people were talking. Like, people are talking to each other going up, people are talking to each other going down, and the assholes that decide they don't want to wait for anyone are like, behind you, coming up behind you. You don't know who they're talking to because there's people on both sides of you.
Yeah.
These cables are maybe what? 4.5, 5 feet apart? Maybe.
I was going to
Probably
say
4.
3.
I think they're like 4 because there's definitely enough room for 2 people holding on to cables to be looking in their respective directions.
Yeah.
But not by much.
Yeah.
So when someone wants to shove past you, there's no room for a third person.
No, there's
And
not.
in that chaos, mind you, you are on a curved slope on slick granite with nothing but these cables to hold on to. And all you can see in your peripheral vision is the valley floor 4,000 feet below you.
Yes.
If you take one misstep, you're on the valley floor. There is nothing else. And people die on this trail.
They did.
Someone died, was it this year or last year?
Both, I think.
Probably. There was a young girl who went up there and there was weather and then the granite was wet and it was fucking scary.
It was.
And I just went, like, my eyes were watering because I wanted to cry. My legs were shaking, but I just fucking booked it and took it one cable at a time, and I didn't look down. I just looked at the cables and my feet. I was like, is my foot on something? Great. Cable. Is my hand on the cable securely? Great. And just went. And I started to really worry about how I was going to get down.
Yeah.
And I just basically ran up as fast as I could. I know I wasn't running. I know it took time.
Yeah.
But I just went as fast as I could. And I assumed that you were still behind me. At the very end, I wrote, with a lot of arm work and some grunting, I got up there. Because the very end is a very sharp turn. And you don't really have much you can do with your legs. And I'm a lower half strength person. Like, I can't do a push-up. So I'm like, pulling myself up, trying desperately to get to the top. And when I got to the top, it is surprisingly flat. And you get up and there's almost like a little like walkway that's just kind of a natural chunk of the rock. I threw myself into a divot of the flat rock and was like, I'm alive.
Yeah.
And then I took like, I don't know, 10 deep breaths. I sat up and I heard people coming up. And that's when it clicked in my brain. Em is not here. And people had walked past me, so I assumed one of them was you. And the person was coming up and I said, did you see someone with a purple day pack? And they were like, oh yeah, she's down there. And I was like, by like down there, do you mean back down there? Like, she walked back down? Oh no, she was just way behind me. And I was like, okay, like, you're probably a dickhead. You probably ran past everyone, right?
Yeah. Because we got separated because people were like pushing past
Right.
me. Yeah.
I didn't see that happening,
Yeah.
right? Because they were all shoving and I just kept going because I got scared. I had a panic attack and my reaction was just like, get fucking through this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I just went. And then I said I did it. I waited for Em for about 20 minutes, and finally her head emerged. I was excited to see that she hadn't given up. I felt bad for having moving past her, but I knew that the longer that I was on the cables, the more terrified I would be. And we wandered and took photos. We slowly made our way back to the cables, and going down was more terrifying. And a kind group we had passed quite a few times suggested to take the cables facing backward on the way down. They said it was much easier. After going up, we decided it was best.
Indeed. So I'm still on the cables and I'm having like a full-blown panic attack. And my response is to freeze and just like breathe. Because if I'm not moving and I'm just breathing, then like I'm not falling.
Right.
Right? And I can like kind of just figure out what I need to do. Right? So I'm like taking a few deep breaths and then I'm moving to the next post. And then I get to a point where I'm like 3/4 up and I like can't make myself move anymore because it's the part of the curve where you feel like you're perpendicular to the ground and I just can't move. And people are pushing past me, that the post is rattling and the chain is moving and everyone is just being a dickhead. It's like I become more and more stone-like and I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's like my counselor brain that, is in development because I'm in counseling school doesn't know what to do. And my academic brain doesn't know what to do. And I've written in my journal, I'm on the side of this slick cliff and this is not where a Southern woman is supposed to die. Not at all. I eventually realized that being stationary is making it worse, but I can't move. And then this really kind group of men, 40s, Southern. I hear their Southern accents coming up behind me.
Did your brain just go, home?
Yes, it did. It like immediately, this internal part of me perked up and was like, huh. But they actually like stopped and talked to me. And it was in that like, oh, where are you from? And one of them was like from Virginia. And one of them was from like the Myrtle Beach area. And one of them was from like Georgia. But they were like all friends from college that I was able to like unfreeze myself and kind of regulate enough to get up the cables. But I felt so defeated by this mountain. And I have struggled on hikes. I have felt tired on hikes and like physically exhausted and like emotionally wrung out from hikes, but I have never felt defeated. Like I have felt defeated pulling myself up the last like bit of those cables, and it really was like an arm workout, like pulling yourself
You have to hoist yourself up to the top.
Up those cables. And I've written, so I make it to the top and Nikki is cheering me on the last 60 feet. And as soon as I get over the curve and see that it straightens out, in parentheses, kind of not really, I can't stop. I have to get there. Only we're in altitude, so I can't stop huffing and puffing. And all I want to do is take a slow, deep breath, but I can't seem to stop hyperventilating.
I was not cheering you on as much as I was cheering on you weren't dead. Because I when I got to the top and realized you weren't there, I was like, I would have heard someone scream if someone fell off.
Yeah.
But also, where the fuck is she? And this is not, when you stand at Subdome, you can see everyone going up and down. When you're at the top, you can't see anything.
No, because of that curve.
Because you only see that last bit of curve. And so I was so worried. And then when I finally saw you, I was like, okay, I didn't abandon my friend as she fell to her death.
Yes. And I did, like I was breathing so hard that I was kind of worried I was going to pass out and then fall to my death again. So I hugged a rock. Do you remember that?
I told you, I threw myself in this divot and you just like hugged this rock. You just were like, okay, I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to tell you, I was like, catch your breath. When we walk like 3 feet this way, you're going to feel fine because it's so big and flat on the top that once you finally get to the top away from all the edges, it's fine.
And you were totally right? Like once I was able to catch my breath and I was able to like re-regulate and go to like the true summit of Half Dome, which is flat and huge.
People can go ahead and fuck right off that go on the little diving board thing though.
Oh, hell no.
Fuck no.
That is
happening.
testing the mountain.
Correct. I don't play that game.
No.
No. Mm-mm. I still had to get my ass down.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
I actually preferred down. Down was easier than up for me.
I hated I wrote more about going down than I did about going up. I think I blacked out going up. And was just like, go, 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 go. Like,
Down, I felt way more in control of myself and the situation.
well, I have here that I talked to Rachel and you talked to Emily. So I think we had a better plan and we already kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
But I remember spending a little bit of time. We had a couple little snacks
Mm-hmm.
and there are a bunch of cairns up there. We had dinner with Chase's aunt and uncle, my partner's aunt and uncle, in Phoenix before we left. We had done a little like road trip and I love his aunt and uncle. And so we ended up having dinner with them before this big adventure. And his uncle, who is a pilot,
Mm-hmm.
who is afraid of heights,
Mm-hmm.
we told him what we were doing and he was like, that's so cool. And he has flown over Yosemite, so he knows what Half Dome looks like. He told us that he would be too afraid to ever do that because of the heights. He had seen videos of people that had done it and he was like very impressed that we were doing it. And he said, when you're up there, put a rock up there for me. That was like our goal that day.
Yeah.
We're like, we got to get up there. We got to put a rock up there for Jim.
Yes.
So we found one that was one of the tallest.
Mm-hmm.
We found a little pebble
Yeah.
and we put it on top for Jim. And we
Yes.
took a little video and some pictures. And then I was like, do you want to go down? And, you know, that family had said, like, take it down like a ladder. Do not try to go straight down because it's scary and it's harder. And I was like, you know what? It makes a lot of fucking sense because going down backwards, I'm going to feel a lot more control in my feet because my feet angling up and having the weight in my heels is going to feel better than trying to like be on my toes and not slip.
And you going down, you can also, you have a limited range in terms of like view. So
Right.
you can only ocularly see
Right.
what you are directly dealing with
Right.
instead of being like, holy shit, I'm going to fall to my death.
Right. I mean, until you see the edges. But I just tried to forget I had peripheral vision. I have in my notes, we wandered and took photos. We slowly made our way back to the cables. Going down was almost more terrifying. Looking down at where you had to go without skipping or dying, it was a lot to take in. A kind group we passed suggested that we take them facing backward on the way down. They said it was much easier. We took them like a ladder, and another kind group of people we had passed came with us. Another Emily stayed with Em, and I went down with Rachel. Rachel and I talked the whole way down and encouraged people on the way up as people had done to us. It was amazing how much this experience could bond strangers.
Mm-hmm.
We rappelled slowly and carefully, letting people passing people. I think the benefit of having another like girl group was that we talked the entire time.
Yes.
Like I remember Rachel being like, all right, it's like 4 more steps and then there's another thing because she was going down first. And then I remember telling you and you had Emily ahead of you.
Yep.
And so we were communicating what was next, which made it easier
Yes.
for someone to pass if they needed to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have people going up and down and like we were going down, but looked like we were going up.
Yeah.
Which confused people. And so we were trying to be very like, we're on our way down, go ahead and go around us. And we would wait until we were like at a post and then tell people to go around us. When we got to the bottom, we chatted while we waited for our respective Emilys. And I was like, it was comforting and made it down. We slowly made it down the stairs. It was difficult not to lose the trails, but we made it. Dirt never looked so good. We snacked and carried on. It was already noon when we headed down. I thought we could do the whole hike by then. We'd hoped to get some miles in today. As we headed up to Half Dome, we met a junction with the JMT and realized that we had just come up 1.5 miles of switchbacks that we would have to go down and come back up again with our packs. It was defeating.
Mm-hmm.
It was heartbreaking. It was difficult without weight. It felt impossible. As we took the last 2 miles to camp, I felt more exhausted. Defeated was truly how I felt. Wilderness was winning. I was sweaty and stinky. I was dirty and tired. I felt mentally, physically, and emotionally drained. And it was day 2.
So
it was only day 2.
So I was not with Emily in my journal.
Who were you with?
I think Emily was with you and
Rachel,
and I was like the last one in the line because I was with some unnamed person. Tough Mutter was what he called himself, I guess, and his girlfriend.
Maybe his girlfriend was Emily
Maybe.
or Rachel.
Because I have here that I was freaked out, but I kept singing a goddess chant to myself. And
That is the most not response I have ever heard it come out of your mouth.
yes, and I just kept taking like the next two wooden like lines, and it was so slick that all I could do was controlled slide with the information that was coming up the line of people. Tough Mudder was behind me and his girlfriend, and he kept telling me that I was a beast and that I was killing it with my controlled slides.
Tough Mudder!
And that made me feel better. Once I was off Half Dome and Subdome, I was so happy. Double exclamation point.
I remember us being giddy when we
Yes.
got off of granite and touched dirt.
Yes. We stopped for lunch and Nikki and I both agreed that it was worth it, but never again. Those words never again are literally in my journal. Who knew?
It's a blood bond now. We have a tattoo.
Yeah, and coming back down from that hike is where I saw the rattlesnake.
I have a whole other giant chunk that I wrote. I think this is like the last bit until we got into camp. Oh, this is where I talk about Paul and Carol. I found myself lagging behind Em, which is strange, and eventually I passed her. I was frustrated with my body. I had a blister already. Oh, the blisters.
The blisters.
They
This was the
begin.
beginning.
My head ached, I was tired and stiff, and every person who was walking past was sweat-free, clean-smelling, happy. I was so bitter. I was resentful of each of them. This was supposed to be fun. I kept asking myself, what did you expect? I thought about the next 21 days. I was exhausted imagining them. I tried to make it sound shorter by saying 3 weeks. That made it worse. I thought about my dog. I missed my dog. My dog was my soul dog. And so it was like impossible to be away from her.
Yeah.
I wanted to hold her and lay in bed. I thought about Chase and wanted Taco Bell and my bed. Dog, partner, Taco Bell bed. I was homesick and it was the 3rd day away from them, Taco Bell included. Literally in parentheses. It was a lot. We made it back to camp and I lied down for a while. It was calming. My feet were throbbing and my head still hurt. I drank more water and luckily had enough service that Chase had called. We talked for a bit. I was worried that I might have worried him. Then Em and I walked down to the river for water.
Did you talk about the person we met there? Because I did.
Tori?
Yes.
Yes. I wet my sweat rag and wiped my face. I felt clean again. That could have also been when we got Giardia. May not have been Paul. It may have been soaking our sweat rags and rubbing them all over our face.
That's true. That was a magical experience. We were soaking our feet in this cold water and it was wonderful. And then we hear just this like clanging and banging. And then this person emerges from the woods. And this is the only person we ever met that had more stuff than we did.
We met another couple doing the JMT today. They seemed nice. I saw a young Black woman hiking up to Half Dome, which was cool because at that point we'd only seen Paul. That was that was all of the diversity we saw.
Yes.
It was a lot of young to middle-aged white bodies.
Yes.
White, fit bodies.
Correct.
While we were getting water, we met Tori doing the JMT on our schedule. She seemed chipper. We talked to Carol and Paul again. Paul's full of knowledge and information. He gave us a bear horn. I forgot about the bear horn.
The bear horn.
He gave us a bear horn. He's really a kind man. Carol's the sweetest. I don't think she loves this whole backpacking thing, but she's trying. Paul mentioned to me that it breaks his heart to not see people of color doing the JMT or backpacking. He said he sees them doing day hikes, but it's the through hiking that really changes you. He seemed to love trail magic, and he's been a trail angel to us just in the little time we spent with him. We have his email, and I look forward to interviewing him. Tomorrow is a long one, hopefully.
I have here that Tori was also a southbound JMT hiker, and she was hoping to get to Sunrise tomorrow, but we were hoping for Cathedral Lakes. And we never saw Tori again. And sometimes I wonder what happened to her because, like, we had heavy packs, but she had a heavier pack and, like, extra stuff.
If you've seen A Year in the Life, Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Lorelai Gilmore's backpack.
Yep.
Where she is desperately trying to pack it and it just keeps exploding and then she like watches Snap for a while and gives up and then finishes and then she's taping things on the outside. That's what Tori's pack was like.
Indeed, but obviously, like, Tori had, had it in her to do this and the gumption because she's on day 2.
Yeah.
But she was wearing a hiking skirt. And I remember in the ladies of the JMT Facebook group, there was a lot of discourse around people preferring hiking skirts over leggings or shorts or whatnot for XYZ reason. And there was also a lot of discourse around, like, what do you even do with your period while you're on the trail?
Oh, right.
Yes. Tori was also one of the few other women of size that I saw on the trail. And as a fat person, that like meant something to me that on day, what are we on? Day 2, I was like, okay, I saw another fat person because I was very much feeling like the odd body out, even as a white person. And I have a lot of white privilege, right? So that's there. But like as a fat person, not having that traditionally athletic appearance and having just done this incredibly athletic thing of Half Dome, seeing another fat person in the woods, I was like, yes, okay, thank you. I needed this.
I feel like that middle ground. Like I am straight sized, right? Like I can typically walk into a store and find things on the high end of sizing, right? But I definitely felt that too, because every time we're huffing and puffing up a hill and some traily bro with his very slender figure, like sinewy body is like trail running past me. It feels like you're out of place.
Yeah. Do you remember the couple we met like midway through that were trying to do the JMT in like a week and a half? And they were doing this like Swiss walking technique.
Yes, we were like, what the fuck are those people doing?
Yes. And they were literally walking like 8 inches from each other in perfectly tandem step with their hiking poles. And by God, they were so efficient and so in step and tandem with each other. I believed that they could do the JMT in a week and a half.
Also, wasn't he not wearing his shoes?
Oh yeah, he was like a barefooter or something.
He was like, yeah, I do it for like 3 miles a day.
Yeah. Okay.
My feet were dying in shoes.
Yes.
To each their own.
But in one of our conversations with Paul, you were talking about your research and Paul was feeling really excited about it.
He was so excited.
Yes. And Paul was like, I have hiked so much in California and the West Coast in general. And do you know how many Black people I have seen in like California, in the backcountry, like not in tourist destinations? And you were like, I don't know, a handful. And he said 1. And I remember this very distinctly because he raised a singular finger.
And he was a huge cheerleader for the benefits of just being outside.
Yes.
And I think, like I said, he's an athlete. The, nice little hike that we would enjoy, the Half Dome. I think his nice little hike is hard we trained for this.
Mm-hmm.
We train to do this.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing to do. It is physically strenuous. Is it impossible? No. Is it still enjoyable? Sure. But he was like always on an endorphin high. Like he was like, hell yeah. So I think his expectation of people doing the most like him was a little unreasonable.
Yeah.
But I heard him saying, this is what like replenishes the soul.
Yeah.
This is what cleans all of the bullshit off of you and reminds you who the hell you are.
Yes. And I said earlier that like there's a part of me that's always looking for that feeling that I had post trail, getting off the trail. And I think I see that in Paul, that he's like always seeking like a very specific backcountry feeling. And I kind of get it.
And I think it's okay if that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
It clearly was what filled Paul's cup.
Yes.
That's what made Paul feel like Paul again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so like enchanting to be able to like hang out with somebody who was so passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And for that to be our first like big interaction with anybody was so nice. And then Carol, being a total newbie,
yes,
was like, I want pizza. I'm tired.
This was not what filled Carol's cup.
No. No.
No.
Definitely not. But she was a trooper.
Yeah.
And they were just so sweet.
And he did give us a bear horn, which lived in the top of our tent every night
It did.
with the map.
And we thought about Paul
Mm-hmm.
every night.
Yeah.
We're like, bear horn. Hope Paul's all right. I
Yeah.
hope Carol got her pizza. So we, like I said here in my notes, we had the realization there was a buttload of switchbacks that we were going to have to do again with our pack. And I think that's when we decided, like, we were not going to try to be doing that same day.
No, I think that was smart.
Yes, and
Yeah.
day 3.
It put us behind on mileage. So we were like, oh, we can make it up. And I think ultimately thinking like, okay, we're going to make it up after we both just had panic attacks is not how the body works.
What do you mean? Panic attacks are like running a marathon, so you can just do them every day, right? Because you just do them all the time?
No. She says sassily as she tucks her hair behind her ear.
Actually, day 3 starts in my notes. I've never felt more inadequate, unprepared, or defeated than today.
I'm going to read you my first 2 sentences. First sentence, 2 words. Today sucked. Second sentence, my first sentence is an understatement.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate your support in this retelling of our chaotic adventure. We love to hear from y'all, so reach out on social media at yitheryonderpod or send us an email at yitheryonderpod@gmail.com. Find us on your favorite listening platform, and please rate, review, and subscribe because it really does help. Don't forget to check the show notes for resources and helpful links. And if you'd like more content, subscribe on your favorite membership platform. Info's available on our website, yitheryonderpod.com. We've got weekly blogs from each of us, some planning resources from our trip, with tips on what we do differently, and some other fun bonus content. We truly appreciate you joining us on this great adventure. Until next time.